Hello, in this video I'm gonna show you 15 tips and tricks on your REALME 14T that you should know. And let's begin with a high performance mode that will let you have just better performance if you want to play games or want to do anything else that requires that better performance. Then you can easily enable that by going to the settings. In settings, go to battery, and then find GT mode. Once you turn it on, it will use more power but will increase the performance. So make sure to turn it off after you don't need it anymore, so it just doesn't unnecessarily drain your battery. And now let's get to the next thing, which is app cloner. If you want, you can get your apps cloned, so you have just two separate instances of one app running. And for example, you can have Facebook with two different accounts logged in, so you don't have to relog in each time. You can just use both of them in two separate icons of an app, and in order to use it, go to apps and settings, then go to app cloner. Now I'm gonna click on agree and continue and select the apps that you want to clone. The recommended ones can be cloned, but also all the other ones that you have can be cloned as well. Here's just troubleshooting, but that's not that important. So I think the Facebook will be great for cloning. I can create the app clone, and now I will have two apps. You can rename the clone, so let's call it FB2. And now you can see that I have two instances of Facebook running. So I may have my personal account logged in on the Facebook on this first instance, and on the second instance I may log in my other account, like work account or some organization account, whatever I have, and just whichever app I open, it'll have a separate instance. So now let's get to the notification history. It is pretty useful to have notification history turned on. So if you dismiss a notification and want to go back to it, you can do it in settings. So in settings, you should just find the notifications and quick settings, then find more settings, notification history, and by default it's turned off. Once you turn it off, from then on it'll start recording the history. So now I have the empty history, but if I dismiss any notifications, then they will show up in the history, and I can click on them to get into that app that just had the notification. So this is basically what you can do with your notification history. I think it's pretty useful. And now let's get to the next part, which is the always on display. I think this is pretty useful. I really like this feature to have always on display on, so even if my screen is off, it'll still display the clock and possibly some notifications. It does use some battery, but doesn't drain too much, for sure less than expected, so I think it's worth it. You can go to wallpapers and style and settings, then always on display, then you can turn it on and set it to either seamless or classic. The seamless one will, I think, copy what I have on my lock screen. So you can see I have this style of clock on my lock screen. If I close the screen, it'll still show that in like this seamless view. I can still unlock it with fingerprint, of course, but you can also customize it and change the display settings. In the display settings, you can change what information will be shown, and also new notifications. You can show them on always on display. Unfortunately, there's no option to change whether it will be displayed all the time or only in the day or only for like 15 seconds after turning on the off the screen. Then it will turn on itself after you tap it. There's no way to change it, unfortunately. So I think it just goes off after a certain time. Then if you tap on the screen, it should show up again, but it actually doesn't. Maybe if you raise the phone, it's just different on each phone, so I wasn't entirely sure. But yes, if I raise it, I still see the clock again, and I think that's great. Now let's get to the next feature. By the way, in the always on display, you can customize it, but I'm not gonna get into that too deeply. Now let's get to security feature, which is a theft protection. It detects if you, for example, have your phone unlocked in your hand and someone approaches you, takes your phone and runs away with it. You can, if the theft protection is enabled, it will just lock the phone. So if it was unlocked, then if someone runs away with it, it'll get locked, so they can't access your private data. And in order to use it, go to security and privacy, device unlock, theft protection. You need to have your Google account logged in order to be able to enable it. Then this is the theft detection lock. You can also enable offline device lock, but I can't really think of a scenario where this is better than the theft detection, but I think having both of them enabled is also great. But I prefer that option to be off. Then you can also see the remote lock. Once it's enabled, you need to have a SIM card or eSIM in your phone, and once that's done, whenever you go to the android.com/lock website, you will be able to enter your phone number, and it'll lock your phone. Just lock the screen. So if it was unlocked, then it'll lock it, but your device needs to have internet connection for it. And then there is also the Find and Erase My Device. So if you have Find My Device enabled, then you can go to Find My Device app on another device, or Find My Device website and log in with your Google account. Then you will be able to track your device's location, erase it if it got lost or stolen, or play a sound if it's just lost somewhere near you and you can't find it. So now let's get to the next trick, which is heart rate measurement. Your phone can measure your heart rate since it has a light sensor for a fingerprint, and it's just able to do that. If you go to settings, then scroll all the way down to REALME Lab and go to heart rate measurement. Your phone for that should lay flat on a surface, and you should put your whole finger, probably the thumb, but I think you can use any, like lay it flat on the surface, not just tap lightly, just lay it flat like that. So I'm gonna enable it. Then you can see I lay my finger like that, and I need to keep still, so I'm gonna be quiet for a moment. And this is about right, because this is usually what my resting heart rate is, so I can trust that. Now let's get to another feature, which is also in the REALME Lab in settings, and it's the eject water from speaker. So if you get your phone wet, probably it won't get destroyed because it is water resistant. But but of course, if it gets into speakers, then the sound will be distorted. And if you have the distorted sound because of the water in speakers, then you can select eject water from speaker, then turn the volume all the way up. I'm actually gonna decrease it so it's not as loud, but if you want the best results, increase the phone's volume, then click on eject water, and it'll start playing a sound that makes the speaker vibrate, and the water will be just popped out. Now let's get to another feature, which is AI Smart Loop, which I don't really see AI in it. It says it's an AI, but I think it should be called just Smart Loop, although it's still pretty convenient. So if you go to accessibility and convenience, then AI Smart Loop, and have that enabled, then you can use it for either any image, text, video, or file that you can just press and hold, then drag it to the Smart Loop, or on a screenshot. So I'm gonna use a screenshot now. And once you start dragging it, okay, it always shows me this gesture. I don't really care. Never mind. So if I start dragging it, I'll see this highlights on both sides. And if I get it to one of the sides, then it will show you this smart loop. And here are some apps that you can share it with. Like you can print it, you can send it with Bluetooth, you can save it in Google Photos, or search for it in Google Lens with a Google app. You can go up or down to scroll across this menu. And just select anything that you like. Let's maybe create a note. And for some apps, if you hover over them for a moment, it will show you possible actions, because different apps may have different actions available. For notes, I think there's only one action, so it's saved to notes. I can view it, and it is saved here, so I can create that note. But you can save it, send it to someone, or do anything else with it that you'd like. Now let's get to another part, which we need to have this bar enabled. Or if you don't want to enable it, then I'm gonna show you a different method, but I think this is more convenient. So also in accessibility and convenience in settings, find smart sidebar, then have that enabled, and now you can slide it. You can also edit it to have the most important things. And once you select something to open, like let's say I want the Gmail, and then it'll open in this like floating view, so I can still continue on using my phone, what's in the background, and also use what's in the foreground at the same time. So I, for example, can turn on TikToks right here and continue typing with my friends. And you can resize it, of course, you can move it, you can click on these three dots to put it on full screen, minimize it or close it. And without this sidebar, if you want to use that feature, then find any app that you want to open in that mode, then click on three dots and click on floating window. And this is going to work exactly the same. You can see the app is fully functional. So since we have that sorted, let's go to the AI picture, removing objects from pictures using AI. So if you go to Photos app, then select a photo that you want to delete an item from. For example, like something has gotten into the picture that shouldn't be on the picture, some items or some people, and you can click on Edit, then click on either AI Eraser, probably AI Eraser to remove something, and you can use Smart Lasso or Paint Over. They both have the same purpose. Or remove people, it'll detect people on the image and you can select which ones to remove. I'm gonna use the Smart Lasso to remove this one little leaf. And it takes a moment and it requires a Wi-Fi connection, but once it detects it, it'll start erasing that from the picture. I think it didn't quite recognize it correctly, since there is this like artifact that shouldn't be there. But despite that, I think it did a pretty good job. And I can also remove that bigger item, that bigger leaf. Let's see if it works with that. And yes, it does, and it did a fair enough job. Then you can also, I'm gonna discard the changes, but you should click on Done in order to save them. You can also use the AI Clear Face. If you have a blurry face on a photo, then it'll clear it and make it sharper. But I don't have any photos with face on this phone, so I can't show that. So let's get to another feature, which will be available in the Chrome browser. So I'm just gonna get to the HardReset.Info website. And now I can click on three dots in top right corner and click on add to home screen. So if that's a website that you use pretty often, you can add it to home screen. I wanted to change the name, but I actually failed to. And I failed to add that to the home screen. So let's try again. Add to home screen. Okay. I'm just gonna delete what's in front of the name and add it. Then I'm gonna add it again. And now you can see it's here. So if you use something frequently, you can add it like that. Now, another AI feature, again, is gonna be the Google Lens or circle to search. First, I'm gonna show you the Google Lens, which you can use in order to either choose a picture from your gallery or take a picture in this very moment to search for visual matches of this picture on the internet, and maybe sometimes some explanations or whatever you can see. I'm gonna show you an example of it. So the Google Lens is opened with this camera icon next on the Google widget, and you can take a photo of anything and it'll try finding it on the internet. As we can see, it has found the channel. Now if I instead try taking a picture of this plant, then it'll also find it. And for some things, it can also show me an explanation of what's on the picture, not only the visual matches. And you can also find products to buy that thing online. I think this is the exact same thing that I have right here. And yeah, it's pretty good at it. And then circle to search will only work if you either have three buttons at the bottom, or if you have gestures like me, you need to have this bar on. So first I'm going to show you how to turn on this bar. You should just go to the settings, search for system navigation, then make sure that hide gesture guide bar is disabled. And now when you press and hold on the gesture guide bar or on the home button, it'll turn on circle to search, and it works the same as the Google Lens, but it allows you to circle something that's on the screen. So if I, for example, circle the Play Store, it'll show me pictures of that, and that's basically it. Or if I go to the settings, and here I can, no, I didn't want to screenshot it. I wanted to open circle to search. So if I select that, it may find the explanation for it. Earlier it has, but now it only showed me the visual matches. Although earlier, as I've tried it, it explained that it's the settings on your REALME phone. And now let's get to the next thing, which is Phone Manager. This is a really good tip on having your phone run smoothly. At first, you should go to Optimize, click on that, and wait until it optimizes your phone. Then clean up your storage so your phone runs smoother. Actually, I don't have any junk files, but if you do, you will have an option to click on Clean Up. And then also the System Boost, which allows you to free up some RAM storage. So let's click on Boost now, and it will also make my device run smoother. So that is really great. Now the last two things, one of them is themes. You can apply different themes to your phone to have it personalized. Like for example, if you go to Home and Themes, fonts, you can apply fonts all across your system, but I don't personally like it. Then wallpapers, I'm gonna select actually a font. Just select anything that you like. You can also find some here in this OMG section, whatever it means. Let's maybe see the Word Trip series. Maybe there are some good ones, I don't know. I like to see the India, so let's No, I didn't mean to follow it. I meant to click on it and apply it. So you can see it can change your wallpaper as well as the icons and whatever once you apply it, and it will make your phone personalized for sure. But that's also covered in another video on our channel, which is about customizing your REALME 14T. So if you want to learn more about the theme store, then you can find it there. But now the last feature is gonna be mostly useful if you in the future are planning on gifting your phone to someone older, or if you just have low vision or low hearing. If you have low vision or low hearing, probably you should actually visit the accessibility features, because if you go to accessibility and convenience, then accessibility, you will find lots of these features here. But if you wanna just, if an older person wants to use this phone, then it'll be great to go to settings, accessibility and convenience, and find simple mode. That'll make the larger text, larger icons, and louder volumes. So if I enter the simple mode, you can see that everything appears bigger. So it's just easier to navigate through it. Also on the home screen, you don't really get the app drawer, so it's not as confusing. And everything is now stored in the other apps. Then you can also see that there's no Google widget on the left side. It's just all simpler and with bigger icons and text. But I'm gonna disable it now, and these are all the features that I wanted to show you. That's all for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.